Hi and welcome to the Pole Shift News. Guys, first of all, big thanks to the support given on PayPal and on the Patreon account. Massive thank you. Guys, there's a reason I've put in the title alert breaking news, because this is more than worthy. I'm sure you'll agree later on the video. It is justifiable. You know, we are facing more and more problems related directly to this magnetic pole shift as time goes on. And you know, it is the recent last few days only that I've connected a few dots, and I think it's well worth bringing it to your attention. I've got to say, this goes beyond any scientific published report to date. I don't believe that other organisations and people studying this anomaly are connecting the dots in the same way, but there are a few which I'll mention, Hendrik and Jacob Svensmark, that are looking into the the research relating to clade seeding via cosmic radiation, that are trying to pioneer in their field and connect the dots with regards to cosmic rays creating more clade seeding. And it is based on their research, really. Not that I've been studying a lot of their research. I know that they are working on cosmic rays and cloud seeding, but I've sort of like connected a few dots over the last few days, which I feel is definitely going to become very important in the not too distant future, because I think I'm probably excelling in some of the areas where other researchers aren't. So, I'm not going to keep you on the cliff's edge on this, guys. I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to play you a video from NASA which is related to the ozone hole, and then I'm going to explain why this is so significant, because this is going to be changing the climate on this planet as a direct result of what the makeup is over the ozone region. So first of all, you'll see in this video that the ozone has got just marginally smaller over recent years, and as a result of that, and one thing we've got to connect the dot first of all is you'll notice that the ozone, the biggest ozone hole, is over the Antarctic region, which is a very cold region of the Earth. It also is the region of the Earth where one of the magnetic poles lie. Again, none of this is by coincidence. I think what's happening is, in a lot of cases, with the aerosols that are responsible for creating the ozone holes are being transported probably through the electrojets or Birkeland currents, and they're conglomerating in that region. But the big issue here is, guys, for us, is that we know that as a result of grand solar minimum, there is an increased influx in cosmic radiation, and on top of this, the Earth's magnetosphere is weakening, and as a result of both those anomalies that we are currently faced with today, we are going to be receiving more cosmic radiation. So Hendrik and Jacob Svensmark are in the business of discovering how these cosmic rays interact with aerosols, which are usually very small particles of dust, vapor, smoke, mist, etc. And what happens when these positive charged ions that carry a little tiny bit of mass attaches to one of these aerosols, and it builds up on the aerosol, making the aerosol a large enough molecule in the end to eventually create a platform for water to condensate on. Now, if we're getting more cosmic radiation inbound, we already have an increased reservoir of aerosols over the Arctic regions of the planet, and as a result of that, we are going to be seeding more water vapor in the atmosphere. Guys, you won't hear this talked about anywhere else other than the Maverickstar Observatory and myself talking about it, because I don't think, well, I'm pretty confident they haven't connected these dots together. So the point is this: as the magnetosphere weakens even more and we remain in a grand solar minimum, more cosmic radiation is going to be inbound, and there is a reservoir of aerosols that are forming in the ozone regions of this planet. All they need is cosmic particles to form cloud nuclei, and then we get more vapour in the atmosphere. As a result of more vapour in the atmosphere, because water is a trimolecule, we end up with a greenhouse gas expansion, and as a result of more water vapour, simply it blocks out more solar radiation, because the sun and its radiation do not penetrate through the cloud levels. So we have a runaway effect that hasn't been mentioned up until this point with regards to the aerosols that are accumulating at the poles right now. This is in its own right a massive game-changing problem that nobody yet has even begun to compile how severe it's going to be. But one thing I can assure you of is, if there is aerosols there, and if there is more cosmic radiation, then there is going to be more cloud seeding, and as a result of that, these polar jet streams, both over the northern and southern hemisphere, are going to be transferring that water to the subtropical regions, and we are going to get more of this sporadic weather patterns. Just a minute, guys. Please excuse me for that interruption with the phone ringing. But guys, the problem gets even worse with what I'm about to say. There is a project which is about to go ahead in the not too distant future, maybe even in 2019, maybe early 2020 or 2020, sorry. And what they're going to do is pretty much artificially seep the atmosphere to cool it. And the big problem with that is, when you cool the atmosphere, you actually increase the aerosols in the regions of the ozone, creating a bigger ozone layer, which in turn will mean that as the magnetosphere continues to weaken under this magnetic reversal, and the sun remaining in a solar minimum, will allow the floodgates to literally open up on these aerosols, which in turn will create more water vapor. It's going to create an even bigger problem to the situation at hand already. In my view, if they have knowledge of this, there is no need to artificially cool the atmosphere, because it's going to do it naturally. It's just part of the natural process of two major anomalies coming together: one, a grand solar minimum, and two, a magnetic reversal on the planet. Guys, I'm going to run this video from yours truly, NASA, and you'll notice at the end of this video they're going to even mention it themselves in an admittance in this video that the Arctic region has remained cooler this year. So what is that saying for global warming right now, when we are getting the ice caps of this earth experience colder climate? So I'll run the video. Of course, if you're getting colder temperatures over the Arctic regions, and something unnaturally is happening with regards to the ozone, i.e. it's not getting bigger, then something else is happening. Quite clearly, something else has changed. Now, what is it that's changed? It's simply the fact that there is an opportunity for more cosmic radiation to come into this Earth atmosphere as a result of, a grand solar minimum, and as a result of a magnetic reversal. Those two things will allow more cosmic radiation to come inbound into our atmosphere and interact with the ozone, and interact more particularly with the aerosols that make up the ozone, because it is these that those two scientists I mentioned earlier, Hendrik and Jacob Svensmark, are doing the research. They have stated through their experimentation in laboratories that these aerosols are the actual interaction molecules, if you like, or particles that form cloud seeding. Now, they're no more abundant than in two places on our Earth right now, and more so in the Antarctic region. So if there is an abundance of aerosols, there is going to be an abundance of cosmic radiation interacting with them aerosols, and as a result, more cloud condensation will be forming. Now, the thing is with this, guys, is that, on top of this, our geniuses in these organisations and world governments are about to unleash a program to cool the Earth even more. Amazing, isn't it? Guys, the more and more we do research with regards to this anomaly, the magnetic pole reversals on this planet, we find out there are more and more facets and more anomalies that are connected to it. There is no coincidence, like I've said, that the poles are in the same region as the Antarctic and Arctic regions, the sub-zero temperature places on our Earth that are the coldest. This is also the region now where the rotational axis is. This is also the region where, layers form. The more and more, the more and more we research, the more and more we find out how important magnetic poles are in planetary mechanics, a word that is even not mentioned by mainstream science. Planetary mechanics. It's like I said, if you was in the business of building worlds, the first thing you would do would make sure that this world had magnetic poles, because if it did, it would have a magnetosphere, and it would protect all the biodiversities on the planet. We are really giving these mainstream organisations a run for their money. We're connecting the dots before they even do. 2 times we've come out with information before the mainstream organisations, and we've did it again today, guys. They're going to be talking more about the ozone layer and the connection between cosmic rays and the aerosols that make up the ozone layer over the Antarctic regions of this planet. So it's a matter of time before they come out, and I guarantee you one of you guys may even come across the story of the admittance when they do and bring it to our attention. But it's just a matter of time, because if the region where the ozone layer is getting colder, and normally that creates it to expand, creates a situation where it expands, but it's not doing that, it's shrinking, then it's something else is at play. And my bet is that the cosmic radiation that is increased as a result of the grand solar minimum right now, and the magnetic depletion of the magnetosphere, both form a result that reduces the ozone layer. And I bet you these organisations will come out and tell us about it. Guys, this wouldn't be able if it wasn't for people supporting us on PayPal and on Patreon. And we've got 149 people that's supporting us now on Patreon. We've raised $895, and we've raised a few quid on the PayPal as well. And I want to thank all you guys out there for supporting this. We're delivering some great results for the budget that we're on. We're not on the budget. These organisations yet we're coming out and telling you guys way before they are. 4 months in one instance, weeks in another. You know, I told you and showed you how the Canadian intensity was depleting in magnetic strength way before they did. I told you that there was an influx in movement over the North Pole as a result of us monitoring it with our Trimag system that was crowd-funded to be built. And now, later on this month and in the next few days, we'll hopefully have the rest of the parts to make up the rest of the magnetometers, and we've got the first one built. You know, we'll have these put in the paths of these high intensity regions over this Earth. So this little observatory is starting to spread its wings, guys, and it's only a result of people funding it. So you know what? Those people that have put $1 out of the 895 dollars that we've raised, you know, have contributed to this information getting out to the general public. And you know, guys, I say every time, there's a link down there, and you can support this research and this observatory, because we deliver now. We are delivering. I just hope that this encourages more people to back us, because we're going to keep delivering the information, and there's an information explosion about to come once we get their magnetometers in the positions of where they're going shortly. That is on them high intensity regions that we're about to be monitoring on a monthly basis, maybe even a weekly basis. It all depends on how things change and at what speeds they change. So guys, the link's down there if you want to support us, and I just want to say big thanks to you all, and I'll say what I usually do. Bye for now.